All right, y'all, what's going on? GoofyRhexxi here, and hope everybody is doing well. And I wanted to talk about this subject here today, and it's how to overcome bottlenecks in Marvel Strike Force. There's so many resource crunches that are in the game right now. There's gear, there's gold, some have training mats. Usually it's either one or the other, right? One has, there's usually gold is an issue, but then you have training mats galore, or you'll have training mats, you have gold galore but not having enough training mats. So how do you overcome bottlenecks in this game? We're going to talk about some of the things that I do to make sure that I'm able to kind of stay a little bit ahead of the game when it comes to my resources. Obviously, character shards are a little bit more challenging because of how they get released into the game, but I'll kind of share some things here that I do to try to overcome some of the bottlenecks that are in this game. First thing I want to talk about, first point I want to make here is that I think initially you're going to kind of have to go in with this mentality of debunking the theory of having to keep up in Marvel Strike Force. So I think that's the first thing I want to talk about here is the idea of trying to keep up in MSF is really kind of something that's really a theory that some of us have made up. I've said it before myself where I'm just like, oh man, I got to try to keep up. When in reality, the only way to keep up in Marvel Strike Force is to spend money. It's really to kind of be a little bit over aggressive with trying to keep up with characters. So the best thing to do is really kind of to try to set priorities instead of trying to keep up with the meta or keep up with exactly what is going on in the game, because it's just going to be very challenging for you to be able to do so. So what I like to do is I like to set priorities. What things am I going to be investing on and also or investing into, and also making sure that I work on one thing at a time, not trying to work on this team for arena and then that team for raids. No, like I do it one thing at a time. So if I'm working on my arena team, then I'm picking out the characters that I'm using to work on for my arena squad, and I'm leveling them up incrementally day by day. Or if I'm working on my raid team, I'm picking my raid characters, I'm leveling them up incrementally day by day. We'll talk about how to sort of kind of spread out those resources as you use them. But I think just the idea, I just wanted to kind of first talk about debunking the theory of trying to keep up in MSF, because in reality, unless you're spending a decent amount of money in the game, you're not really going to be able to keep up. So the best thing to do is to try to not keep up, try to set priorities on what you need to invest into. Yes, pay attention to the meta, but understand that you are probably going to have to go at a slower pace if you're not willing to spend a lot of money to make sure that you are investing into what you need to invest into to get the job done however you want to get that done. Now, the second thing I want to say too, in order to try to overcome bottlenecks here, is to also set boundaries. I think boundaries are incredibly important in this game, because you only get XYZ amount of resources per day, right? You only get a certain amount of, it only makes sense to spend a certain amount of cores. There's only a certain amount of gold that you're getting every day by doing daily objectives, by doing other activities in the game. So I think it's really important for you to be able to set boundaries for yourself in regards to how much resources you are going to spend. So for me, one of the ways that I do that is that I set boundaries that I have for gold, for my gold investment. So right now, on a day-by-day basis, my gold investment the goal I like to spend is anywhere between 1.5 to about 1.7 million gold per day. Now, the way that I break that down is that I will have, okay, well, I know I'm working on right now, I'm going to be working on Winter Soldier, because I'm going to prepare and get him to G13 so that I can unlock a 6-star Omega Red. So I know that with Winter Soldier, I am willing to spend about 1 million gold per day on character upgrades. So if I bring him up to level 69 right now, it's going to bring me up to 1.1. I don't really want to be there. Where I want to be is about 1 million or so, and I want to leave some space. Now, actually bringing them up to the mentality is this: I want to spend 1.5 million gold per day. I want to allocate about 1 million gold to leveling up my character or character upgrades. It could be putting levels on him. It could be increasing ability. It could be spending ability materials. Whatever the case is, could be putting gear on that character. I know that I want to limit myself to spending 1 million gold per day on character upgrades. And then the other 500 crate, I want to allocate that towards things like store buys, right? So mini uniques, teal gear. I'm grabbing a lot of teal gear right now. So I'm allocating my the other 500k gold, I'm allocating that towards, or if I'm going to spend the 1.1 million gold here, and I know I'm going to allocate about 300k gold now to then buy stuff that's inside the actual store. So that way I'm setting boundaries for myself, and I'm sticking to those boundaries to make sure that I'm able to save gold. And what this is allowing me to do now, it's allowing me to spread out my resources. So I will be able to spread out my training mats. So I'm not blowing all training mats in one day when a new character gets released. I'm implementing stopping points if I'm investing into new characters, because, you know, once again, I'm not trying to blow all of my resources all at once. It gives me some time to spread out what I'm doing so that maybe I can farm in between my character upgrades. I can farm extra gear that I need to get my character up to where I want to eventually get them up to later on. But that way I'm setting those boundaries, and I'm keeping myself to those boundaries, because I know, hey, if I spend 1.5 to 1.7 million gold per day, I'm usually getting somewhere close to that back on a day-by-day basis on average. So therefore, I know that I'm setting boundaries, I'm sticking within a certain parameter, and that parameter is working for me for me to be able to keep resources and then spread out the resources that I'm using over time. The next thing I say was really important too is also to have roster check-ins, or what I like to call inventory checks, right? So for me, recently, I do this like once a week. I used a bunch of bio gear recently because we just invested into the Web Warriors team. So what I do every week is that I go into the war store, I'll pull up the orbs, and then I'll look at my orange gear war orb, and then I'll individually kind of just select certain mini uniques, right? So I'll look at this piece. I have 211, I have 434, I have 379, I have 323, I have 255. Okay, here it is. I have 168. Usually I want to be in a place where I have at least 200 of each piece, because if they introduce 3 new characters, I want to be able to have enough to get those characters up to G14, or maybe potentially even G15. I want to be able to at least have 200 of those pieces, so that way I can invest into those new characters, but then also still have some left over if I need to. That's just kind of like something that I have in my mind, that I want to at least be able to have 200 pieces of a particular piece of gear. So that's kind of what I do. So I do inventory checks, and when I do inventory checks and I see, okay, well, this piece is under 200, I know now that every day I'm going to make sure that I find a node that has this on it, and I'm going to be farming that every single day. So having inventory checks to see what resource you have or what resource you don't have. So I'll usually check the G14 orb. I'll also check the one that drops the G15s, just to see what I have available, to see what I need to grab. I'll do the same thing as well with the hero uniques. The hero uniques, I'll do an inventory check, and I'll see, okay, well, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? What's under 100? What's under 100? With the hero uniques, to make sure that, okay, if I'm deficient somewhere, I'm making sure that I'm taking the time to jot it down, to farm it, and to make sure that I'm going after getting it, because that way I'm staying ahead of the curve. I'm staying a little bit ahead of the game here. Now, it's not a perfect system, right? There's always going to be some times where you're not going to have enough of something, and then maybe they surprise you with a new release of a team. But at least for me, I'm at least doing these roster check-ins to make sure that I have these pieces, and I'm going and targeting getting these as I move throughout my roster, my day or dailies, or plan throughout the week. And then the last thing I want to talk about here is orb management. I think if you are a free-to-play player, if you're someone that's not spending a ton of money in this game, I think that you're going to have to get into it's probably frowned upon to say this, but hoarding. You're gonna have to hoard some resources here, hoard some orbs, right? One of the things that I like to hoard every now and again, I don't do this all the time, but I will hoard some premium orbs, or I will hoard the Ultimus orbs, because typically whenever the new characters get released, they do their events, they usually throw them in the Ultimus orbs, they throw them in the premium orbs, they throw them in the mega orbs, they throw them in the basic orbs, right? That's usually where they go first, before they become farmable, whenever they become farmable. So I like to save those orbs and keep them in bulk, just in case whenever they release that character, they put those characters in those orbs, I have an assortment of them where I can use, and then I can open them up. Prime example of this, we just had the Scarlet Spider event not too long ago. I saved a bunch of Ultimus orbs. I think I had close to maybe like 21 or so. I think I had close to maybe, I want to say I had at least 30 of these premium orbs. and Ghost Spider was in there too. So I opened up a bunch of those orbs. I was able to get 45 shards in total for Scarlet Spider. I was also able to get, I think, 17 shards for Ghost Spider. My Scarlet Spider was able to go up to 5 stars, and then I got just a little bit of extra shards here for Ghost Spider to get her closer to the 5 stars that I wanted to be able to get her to. So for me, I find value in being able to save some of those orbs, save them in bulk. I think mega orbs are good too. Wait until you get a good character in there that you want, because the characters are all going to be there anyways. Now they do rotate some of the characters out of the mega orb, so maybe if you're looking for an older character to go in there, maybe that could be a concern. But usually the characters that they're taking out of the mega orb are usually characters that are available in other areas for you to farm anyways, so you can go in that direction. But I think for those newer characters that get released and get thrown into those orbs, you have the opportunity now to then open up those. It's still RNG based, I know, but still it just gives you a higher chance that now they're going into that orb that you can then go ahead and open up that orb there. So and then the same thing with gear orbs. Like pretty much basically my thing is this: don't open orbs that you don't need to open up immediately. I know that this probably sounds like a boring way of playing the game, but in reality, when this is more of a resource management game than anything, right? It's, I know it kind of looks sexy when, some of us probably get character and upgrade character the max on day one. I mean, I don't, but I know some of my fellow CCs do. Like, it looks sexy to do that, but is that realistic for your roster? That's probably not something that you can do, or you can do without facing some repercussions that are not going to be helpful to your roster later on down the road. So therefore, it's probably best for you to hoard some of those orbs, hoard some of those character orbs, wait until some of those new characters go in there that you maybe didn't get very good shards on their release. So it gives you a higher chance of being able to land those shards that you need for those characters. Same thing with the gear orbs. Save those until you really actually need them. And then when you do need them, you have them on a day when you do need to go into those orbs, you have them available to you on that day. Space out your upgrades. As I said, implement, barriers or boundaries for yourself, 1.5, 1.2, 1.3, whatever the case is. Figure out exactly how you want to go about doing that. Implement stopping points as you upgrade characters. That is also really helpful as well. But yeah, it helps you to kind of spend and save resources over time. Do your roster check-ins, look at your inventory, look at what you have available to you, and then making sure that you're going after farming those pieces of gear, so that you're staying ahead of the curve just in case they release those new teams. Well, that's pretty much it for me, guys. I'm going to end it there. Hopefully you guys found some good, useful help from this here. I really endeavor to do more of these videos to talk about how to sort of navigate this game if you're not spending a bunch of money, or navigate this game with the frustrations that are in it. So hopefully this is a helpful video for you. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. If you have any critique about anything too, let me know that as well. I think everybody plays at a different pace, and I think we all can learn from each other. If you like this video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you know when my videos do go live. Check the links that are down below: Discord, Twitch, where I am actually making this video live on Twitch right now. So check out Twitch, where I do stream Marvel Strike Force Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday nights as well. Check out my Patreon, another way for you to support the channel by only spending $2 a month to do so. And then, yeah, check out the other links as well, guys. But appreciate you guys so very much. Until next time, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe.